Okay, first I wanted to go over one of the things that you hear that all these contests have judges, but people don't know them. They don't know the quality of the judges looking at their work. I know a couple things here in town where they have contests and like anybody can judge, even if they've just walked in the door and don't know anything, as long as they volunteer time to look at stuff. And that's their choice. We consider ourselves a more professional level. So our judges are people that have had books or articles or poetry or whatever published and who have themselves been award winners. And for just a moment, I want to walk through a set of slides and just tell you a little bit about them. And most everybody goes A to Z. Well, me, I like to go backwards. So we're starting with Dolly Williams, who is a member who she writes science fiction. Her books, Child of Chaos and Chaos Unleashed, have both won awards, and she's been doing wonderful sales with them. This is actually part of a 5-book set, so she's busy with the 3rd one right now. Next. Then Dan Wetmore, who writes poetry. He also has had a background in the military and has written several essays on military ethics, and he's a book author as well. Patricia Walco, oh my gosh, that woman has written so many different things. She's part of the Corrales Writing Group, which is one of the critique groups that is in the northwest part of Albuquerque. Outside Albuquerque, sorry. And short stories, personal stories, etc. I'm just going to kind of continue on because I know everybody's anxious to get their books announced. Our next one is Lynn Sturdivant. She is a professional editor who also has written several books, as you can see. I'm not going to announce all of them.
Well, I'm not used to using the scroller.
Okay. All right. Rob Spiegel was president before, well, he was president when I first came on to Southwest Writers, which tells you how long he's been around. And Rob is a blogger. He does mostly online work. He's also written 3 books, but his profession involves blogging type writing for businesses. Benjamin Radford is our personal paranormal investigator. Oh my gosh, the man has been all over the country, from Bad Clowns to Chupacabra, or however you say that. Several books have won awards nationally, and he's called on television every time they find a house with a ghost in it and they're trying to figure out if it's a real ghost or not. You'll see his face show up. Evelyn Neal, as she was just up here recently, she's perpetually, if she enters something, she's going to win an award somewhere. So we decided, okay, we'd like her to help us out with reviewing. And Carol Holland March is also one of the writer-editor coaches who's a professional in the business, writes all kinds of short stories, poetry, etc. You've met RJ. Where are you? There he is. There's RJ. And as you can see, he writes children's books as well as science fiction. I loved his Tower of Il Cerro.
El Cerro.
Cerro. I never knew how to spell it or pronounce it. Okay. Elizabeth Layton is a literary coach. She's a teacher here in town who also is a social media guru. She can help everybody learn how to manage that kind of information online if they're needing to promote themselves. You know her, this good one. And Dr. Thelma Giome, lady I have had the pleasure of working with quite a lot lately. She's primarily, well, I've worked with her on her poetry books, and she's written several novels and a memoir that was of her sister's writings that she also helped with and is now, that one is now in print. Sam Mormon doesn't know it yet because he didn't show up today, darn it. Sam, if you're out there listening to this, I have something to thank you for. If you'll notice, one of his most recent things was in Chicken Soup for the Soul, which inspired me to start submitting stuff to that publication. And I just found out this week that they're going to be publishing one of my stories in their next book. He is here?
He's on vacation.
Oh, he's on vacation. Okay. Well, this is another lady that we really enjoy having around because she does design book covers. She's a wonderful artist. And so she did Thelma's Shatter My Heart book, which that's one of the most beautiful covers I think I've seen for a long time. So Kathy Louise Schuett, she's one of the people who is helping to review books. She writes poetry as well as stories herself. Jacqueline, I don't think there's anything Jacqueline doesn't write. Film scripts, play scripts, poetry, nonfiction. I mean, the woman is just horrendously. She was saying today, Jacqueline is currently, she would have been here today, but they're shooting a movie that she is the script supervisor for up in Santa Fe. So she's up there helping them shoot the movie. And Cornelia Gamlin, who I'm going to have the pleasure of doing a workshop with soon, or a class with soon, workshop. Anyway, and this is the beauty of this group. I mean, you've got fiction writers and we have a lot of nonfiction writers. Cornelia is one of the biggest creative nonfiction writers that I know. You can see these books have gone on the New York Times bestsellers list several times.
Not quite.
Well,
Look, we're hoping.
I know you've had several awards for those. Our president, Brenda Cole, of course, was part of the team as well. And you can see mostly she does essays, short stories, poetry, and she's managed to appear in all of our books, plus several others around the state and around the nation. And then there's this guy that's over here behind the camera or behind the computer screen here. He just came back from a tour of the country with his latest book, A Cowboy's Destiny. Go Joe. Next one.
Oh, let's leave that up for a while.
Oh. And then there's the amazing Paris Afton Bonds, who also participated from her home in Mexico this year, helping us with the judging of this year's contest. And she's had over 50 romance novels published by traditional publishing houses. Go ahead. Now, there's two women who are not with us here today, and this one is not with us because she's sad right now. And she's a poet. She and her best friend, who is Christina, on the next slide, they are haiku poets from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And they did their judging from a distance for the haiku division. We had a lot of haiku people this year. And Anna lost her best friend because a month ago, next slide, Christina Laurie, who was 80 years old and out on her moped in Cape Cod, was unfortunately involved in an automobile accident.
Oh, no.
She was returning home at that time, 80 years old on a moped. Oh my. Anyway, so she passed away after the accident, and that's the reason Anna's not here as well. She's kind of in mourning. One of our other members, Jacqueline Loring, is also a good friend of both women. So she sent me this information and the picture about Christina Laurie. So our haiku people, you guys were basically judged by some of the country's best. So that's it for that. And we're going to go into the awards now. Again, a diversity of expression writing contest. Some of the other judges will be helping me to give those awards. And if you want to start with that, now I'm going to kind of describe, we had 249 entries into this contest. And you can see each division, some had more, some had less. They had to have a minimum of 5 entries to get an award. Some of those that had, if they had a minimum of 5 entries, then we would give first, second, and third place. If we had a minimum of 3 entries, they only got 1 place, or only 1 was given. We also gave honorable mentions to some of those, like, look at this, at the memoir, the opening chapter of unpublished books. Some of these had a lot of people, which indicate to us that these are ones that we really wanted to give a little extra to. They might not win first, second, or third, but we went ahead and threw honorable mentions for those ones that came pretty close. I mean, those ones, every single entry had at least 3 people looking at it. And when we got to those ones that we had real tight, then we have brought in even more. So, you know, these are well looked at. Go ahead, Joe. All right. So the first one was cover art. And the art that was sent to us, which was supposed to be full color, was to hopefully in some way describe our theme, a diversity of experience. And we had a lot of different people send us things, but this one, because of the people all wearing different hats, it was the closest to what we needed for a cover of our book. And go ahead and click it. The winner, Kathy Louise Stewart. Kathy is, she's an awesome artist, as we've already mentioned. Oh, that's something else. Before you ask, people that were judging could enter the contest as long as they were not judging any category that they themselves had entered. So Kathy Shewitt, go ahead and click that, Joe. As you can see, and again.
Wow.
Click it again. Thank you.
Okay.
So this is our anthology, and Kathy Shewitt, how did you come up with that artwork?
Oh, I just threw a lot of stuff against the artboard and actually I padded my entries. I entered 4 different entries in this category. And but it was sort of fun to explore how you could portray a diversity of expression with art or different art objects. So this happened to be the one that they like. It was my favorite also of the 4 that I entered. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled.
Like I said, are you keeping this? Yes. Talk to you later. Okay, the anthology is available on Amazon right now. The Southwest writers can get it for $14.95 for the next 2 weeks. As of October 3rd, then we're going to raise it to $24.95 for the general public and start putting out advertising or marketing for it at that time. But only Southwest Writer members know that it's there now. So thank you very much, Kathy, because you're like selling the book. All right, go ahead. Now, we also had interior artwork, which is black and white, because the interior of the book, of course, is black and white. And there were quite a few entries of people just sending photographs or some of it that was handwritten artwork or whatever. And so we have about 5 of them that were sent to us that we thought were appropriate for the different categories of the contest. So our first winner, oh, and Kathy, you're supposed to take this with you. That's my fault. Okay. Rebecca Larrabee, are you online? Okay, I'm not hearing her.
She was trying to get.
She was trying to get in?
She thought it was for members only, but I sent it.
Oh, no.
To everybody and told her it was for everybody.
Well, Rebecca Larrabee sent us Hamblin Cabin, which was a perfect thing to go with our mountains category this year under prose. And Jeffrey Otis, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Hey,
on
Jeffrey.
Zoom. Hi.
Cool. I don't know if we can get Jeffrey's picture up here so we can see him. Can you drag his picture over from the other screen? Like I said, make it go down to just one picture and then pull it over. And if we can't, but Jeffrey Otis won interior artwork. As you can see, the lovely photograph of the spaceship coming in over the mountains. Jeffrey Otis Flyers.
Thanks.
In the mail, Jeffrey. All right, another of the interior artworks from Jasmine or Jet Trinton. One of our members lives up in Corrales. She has beautiful pictures on her Facebook. They're amazing of the Sandia Mountains from her home. She sees those every day. So she sent us a Sandia Mountain one, which is also going to be in the book. Interior artwork. Jasmine, are you there? I'm not seeing, is she there, Kathy?
No.
No, okay, she's not on. Another one that's interior, and I know this lady is I don't know if she's with us, is Elizabeth Layton.
No.
No, she actually sent me a text today, said she wasn't feeling well. So Elizabeth did Wildly Shining, which you see there, and she'll be getting her check in the mail as well. And basically all of the black and white interiors basically get a $5 check, as basically, like I said, it's not like awarding because it's whether or not it was just accepted by the book. We didn't try and make them first, second, and third place. And the final one that's going to be interior artwork in the contest is Looking for Company by Robert Cudney. Robert around? So that one is also going to be getting his check, and Robert's was so appropriate for celestial bodies. Okay, then. So that's the artwork. I'm going to set those to the side, and the next category is going to be judged by announced by Mr. Joseph Brown, and we're going to trade places here.
Maybe you can get that.
I'm going to try.
Figure it out.
I only tested electronic warfare for about 20 years, creating computers to do that. And, I can't figure that. Anyway, okay. First off, under fiction, the category flying, third place, I'm gonna go third, second, and then first, okay? Third place, under flying, The Lure of Flying by Jeffrey Otis. And Jeffrey, I understand you're here. So you
Yes.
I would love to know, what was your inspiration for creating The Lure of Flying?
The inspiration was actually the first book that I wrote had a character that in the first few drafts had this issue of going off into these sort of fantasies, and they progressively got longer and so on. And that was the inspiration.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Second place, and under the same category, flying, is The Gosling by Judith Castleberry.
Sorry.
You did that just to make me feel better. Judith?
So this is a short story, and part of the core of it is that I'm really bad about not standing behind podiums. So anyway, part of the issue is that I was down walking at the Riverwalk in Farmington one day, and there was a gentleman, not so much of a gentleman, frankly, who literally sicked his dogs on the wild Canadian geese that live along the river. And thankfully, none of the geese were hurt, but it really upset me. So my way of kind of dealing with my anger was I went home and wrote a short story about this person I didn't like and how he brought so much potential damage into this beautiful setting. So anyway, that's what it's about.
And congratulations. So now we're up to first place. And first place, fiction category, flying, One-Way Flight to Shaken. Jim Tritton. Jim, are you here?
No. He's not here.
I think he and Jen are out of town. Yeah.
Well, they're gone a lot. They are two of our globetrotters. Okay, congratulations, Jim. Okay, next category, fiction category is Voyages. Third place, Across the Atlantic by Jasmine Tritton, the Globetrotter. Second place, An Unexpected Voyage by Pat Walkow.
This is actually not a fiction piece. This is a story. I took a trip to the Amazon. You know, it sounded like a good idea at the time, but I took this trip and it wound up being an inner voyage as well as a physical voyage.
Congratulations. First place under Voyages, Hitchhiker by Evelyn Neal. And she's making a voyage across the room. No surprise, Evelyn. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
There you go.
And what inspired
Right
this
up,
story?
right up to your face.
right up here.
Yep.
What
Closer.
inspired?
Closer, closer.
There you go.
Yeah, what inspired this story was a story a Vietnam vet told me many years ago. He was a customer of ours at Kachina Petroleum Equipment, a company my husband and I owned and operated, which incidentally celebrated its 50th anniversary on October 6th. But anyway, he told me this story, and it was based on a true story. Thank you so much.
Okay, next category. Let's see. Creative procrastination.
Now,
Well, yes, but for some reason under mountains. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. My bad. Third place. Mountain meditation, Mary Burns.
I guess the inspiration for this is I love hiking in the mountains, and I wrote a piece that was really just reflecting that. And then I came upon a dilemma that I came back to the piece, and that I created a different story out of it, kind of dealing with the fact that the mountains are very therapeutic and allowed for a meditation to reach a decision. And that was what it was about.
And I apologize for that faux pas. That particular category, the first place was on top and I didn't read it. My bad. Okay, second place under mountains. Granston, Ed Lehner. Did I pronounce your last name right?
yeah.
Lehner?
Nothing in a row, close enough. Thank you.
Yes, Ray, I live in Durango, Colorado, and I don't know if anybody's been to Silverton.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was inspiration.
So, and I start out writing these things and I just kind of go and so I like being a writer because I just get to make stuff up, you know? So there's no rhyme or reason, but anyway, thank you. Appreciate it. So.
All right, now, now I get to say this all again. Under mountains, creative procrastination, Leonie Rosensteel. First place.
Yeah, I'm here.
Right. And are you there?
Yes,
All right.
online. This is a combination of me being an Olympic level creative procrastinator myself and the ability to enjoy the beautiful scenery of the mountains while procrastinating. And so I married the two of them together, and that was the result.
Okay, and my final category is celestial bodies. Third place is The Starfall by Roger Floyd.
Oh, thank you. This is the first time I've been up here at a Southwest Writers Meeting. This little story started out back about 2012 when I took a class through Southwest Writers. We had to write some science fiction. So when this category came up, celestial bodies, I realized immediately, yeah, this would fit, because this story is about one hell of a big celestial body. It's one of the biggest celestial bodies in our galaxy. So I took it, rewrote it quite a bit, and it came out pretty well. So that's how I submitted it.
Okay, second place, The Music Box, Kathleen Holmes.
A little story that I had written for my writer's workshop in San Juan College, where I take the writer's workshop fairly often. And I don't know what really inspired me. I'm actually an artist, and I have a lot of little boxes around my house, and I have done recycled art with musical instruments, which is the setting in the story. And I think that's probably what inspired this the most.
Okay, and the final award that I'll be giving out is first place in celestial bodies, Orion, Angel, Salvador, is it Chioneta?
Chitanya.
Well,
It's
anyway.
Chitanya.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. So this story is anecdotal. I wrote this after a visit to Monument Valley last year, and I wrote about the peace that I felt being in the middle of a vast desert and under the amazing night sky. So it just inspired me, the feeling of, being amazingly insignificant under this, in the middle of this big world. So yeah, thank you so much.
You bet, Angel. And I believe that's it for me.
Thank you, Joe. So Joe has finished his, and the next person up here is going to be our president, Brenda. She's going to announce the winners of the poetry contest.
Right, I'm going to start off with the free verse category. And we figured I could actually do this because I've published in a book of poetry eons ago. All right, we're going to start. We have several honorable mentions in this category. First up is Skipping Stones by Arlene Hoyt Schultz.
We need to write that.
First. All right.
Sorry.
Grab a seat. Well, sorry, you can tell I'm used to running things too.
Anybody else see the inset pictures that I have?
All right, we do have a question. If you're on Zoom, can you see the inset picture, the live photos?
I see you, and I see the screen share with Rebecca's name.
Thank you. That's just what we needed. All right. So now we're going to go to haiku. Honorable mention. We have Ancient Wisteria by Wendy Brown.
I wonder if that's our Wendy Brown.
There we go.
She writes.
What?
Is that our Wendy Brown?
Yeah.
Wendy Brown.
Yeah.
Ancient.
Who's talking there?
So I take it Wendy is not on the call. All right. Next up, honorable mention haiku, Waiting Underground, Rebecca Dakota. All right, we are now up to third place in haiku. Lockdown Privilege, Rebecca Dakota as well. Second place in haiku, Tears by Ed Lehner.
There it is.
About a year ago, I was having kind of a lull in my writing, so I thought, well, I picked up, Natalie Goldberg's book on 3 Simple Lines. So I gave myself a goal of writing 100 haikus in 100 days. I narrowed it down to 10 for this, and then I narrowed it down to 1. So 1%, we did it.
All right. And our first place winner in haiku, and forgive me if I don't get your name right, Dodici Espadu.
Awesome.
All right. She's an excellent writer. All right. And congratulations to everyone who did haiku. It looks so simple and it's one of the more difficult ones to write. Okay, so now we're going to free verse poetry. Honorable mention, Skipping Stones, Arlene Hoyt Schultz.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I got to squeeze under the wire as an honorable mention. Surprise.
Hey, we had 33 entries. I mean, honorable mention in this group is great. Wonderful.
And I guess my inspiration was, just like the poem says, was after a hike and my son's school trips, and I found myself alone with the Jemez River. And I guess I was just really immersed in the situation and grateful and wrote a poem. Thank you.
All right. Honorable mention, free verse, A Different Christmas Tree, Matt Nyman. Honorable mention, free verse, In Memory of My Milton Teacher, John, Alan Byrne.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Right ahead.
Okay, so this was a poem that came out of memories of 3 different things. My time in Italy and where I learned to drink coffee, and then a coffee shop that no longer exists, and then my good friend who was actually first my teacher, John Anson, who died several years ago. And it all came together in this poem, and I was really happy to kind of have it all work, and especially in memory of John, who was a great teacher and a great friend. Thank you.
All right, third place, free verse, Produce, Far Isle by Victoria Homestead.
I am here on Zoom. Thank you. I'm very honored to be selected. And this came from an experience I had in high school, which obviously stuck with me for a few decades. I literally was kicked out of the library in high school for reading a book. And somehow that mushed up with produce, and there's the poem. So thank you.
Second place, free verse, Facing Cancer at the Foot of Ladron Mountain, Wendy Brown.
Wendy, are you still with us?
All right. And free verse, first place, Ode to a Dead Poet, Kathleen Holmes.
This poem was totally inspired out of boredom. I was sitting at my desk waiting for my Zoom meeting to start. We're still on Zoom at my writer's workshop, which is mainly a critique group that I was speaking of earlier. And our teacher is always coming back from Durango, so he's always 15 minutes late, or he might surprise us and not be 15 minutes late. We never knows. But I'm sitting there with a pencil and a pad in front of me thinking maybe I should just jot something down to contribute to this workshop. So I wrote it. It's not about anybody particular. It's about the fact, trying to make light of the fact that we're all only here for a little while, and to lighten up the subject, thinking about people that I've lost through the years. So thank you.
Okay.
Limerick elevator.
Pardon?
Limerick elevator.
What's the matter here? At Mall College. I'm right here. Yeah. So member driven. Okay. What's in order? You're right, Joe.
Vince being short should be a disability.
I'm sorry for the confusion.
Right, limericks.
And this is now what these are two of the member judged categories. So you guys determine who wins. And there is one category she's going to do that has literally the two highest entries had exactly the same votes. So they both get first place.
Okay. We are doing limericks. We're starting with third place. Old Pro Politico by Roscoe Champion. Are you on Zoom? Is he on Zoom?
Apparently not.
No.
Right. Back to limericks. Teen Diagnosis by Roscoe Champion. We know he's not on Zoom. Okay. And first place for a limerick is Words by Christine Allen. You go, Christine. Your inspiration, please.
The inspiration for the limerick is very simple. I played the damn game. This means so much that the membership voted on this. Thank you so much. I feel like I have a Sally, what's her name?
No.
Yeah.
Sally, whatever.
Yeah. Sally Field, thank you. Sally Field moment, but I won't do it. Thank you.
Are addicted, that limerick is about Wordle. Next is this elevator pitch. We have a third place and two first places. Okay. Third place goes to The Price of the Sky by William Fisher.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the members for voting for me. This was inspired, this is the elevator pitch for my second novel, which I hope is to be published later this year. And It's about an individual who is from my hometown. He died about 32 years ago, but by a weird coincidence, my wife inherited his estate, and in doing so, I got hold of his personal papers and clippings from his life, and it was an amazing story. It just is that part of it, but I did more research and found out that was only like the tip of the iceberg about this guy's life. So that's what inspired me to write this novel. Thank you.
And the slide is wrong. There is no second place in this category. This is the one I'm talking about.
Okay. We have 2 first places for elevator pitch. One is Santiago's Prayer by Ed Johnson. Is he online? Is that online?
It appears not.
Okay. The other first place is for Harmonic Chronicles, written by Christine Allen and her husband, Paul Knight. Husband, raise your hand.
Thank you again. The elevator pitch refers to a book. My husband and I are working on a book called Harmonic Chronicle, and it's our first collaboration. So he's got a creative mind, but he's a technical writer. I am a creative writer now after being an archaeologist for so many years, and we work really well together, believe it or not. We don't do so well when we construct a new pen for my rams, my sheep, but we work well writing together. Thank you.
They are still married.
What's next? Am I up next too? Non-fiction category. Probably. Travel. Who's presenting? That's Lynn Sturdivant. I'm coming. And this is Lynn Sturdivant, who's going to be doing the next 2 categories.
Okay. I was in the travel business for a really long time, like forever. And I've read millions and billions of travel articles, but I read some really, really good ones for this category. I was very impressed. So we're going to start with 3rd place, and that is night tree photography in Joshua Tree National Park. Are you with us? She's traveling.
She's on. She's on. Nikki, are you there? There she is. Yeah. Just to put her,
Can you unmute?
yeah, she's unmuted.
No, we're here, so.
Nikki, can you say something?
There I'm on. Nice work. That was a magical essay you wrote.
And she also provided us with a photograph for the book to go with her story.
Oh, she's chatting.
Ah, pull it back to your face, Nikki. We can't see it if it's right there because it's got the blur background on. Bring it back to your face. Put it under your chin.
Yeah, when you have a,
There you go.
No, it's too far.
Starting to look like a mugshot.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's nice work. Thank you. Okay, for 2nd place, Transylvania by Terrence Cady.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
are you muted?
No. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm here in Santa Fe with 3 rescued dogs in front of a fire and, oh, my wife, Dorothea. We took a trip together in Transylvania in 2014, and it blew our minds. It was an incredible journey to old Europe. And that's what inspired the article that I submitted. And I'm very pleased to receive the award.
And our winner, our first place winner is Of Titan and Sprites and Forest Delights, Connie Orozco Morgan.
How do I get rid of it?
Connie? Well, congratulations to all of our travel. And I have one more, another category here, which is book review. Okay, as you can see, we only have one winner in this category because we had only 3 entries. So maybe think about entering in this category next year. And our winner is Santa Fe and the Atomic Bomb. by Roger Moore.
Great. Not only did you win, it is.
Thank you. I read this book, Santa Fe and the Atomic Bomb, a couple of years ago. I've read a number of books about the building of the atomic bomb in Los Alamos. But this book in particular was from the point of view of someone in Santa Fe and how Santa Fe related to Los Alamos. Most of the action took place in Los Alamos, but it was a more humanistic book about the people and how they lived in Los Alamos. It wasn't strictly just build a bomb and set it off. It was a more from the point of view of the people and how they went about building the bomb and all sorts of stuff like that. So thank you.
Oh, this is a big category. All right. Memoir.
Yep.
Honorable mention. Once Upon a Midnight by Joe Capello. Are you online, Joe?
I will in a minute.
Okay. Next. Honorable mention, Ghost on the Lawn by Jennifer Trotter.
Oh.
My full name is actually Jennifer Lynn Andropont Trotter, and I write under the pen name of Lynn Andropont, which is a name that is closely tied to South Louisiana. In fact, all of the Androponts can trace their roots to South Louisiana. And so the inspiration for my story, my memoir, was the Black Lives Matter movement, because growing up with parents who were from that part of the country and the experiences of my childhood just really rang true when I learned more about how people feel about race in this country. So that was the inspiration for my piece. Thank you.
Okay. Third place in the memoir category, Bubblegum by Evelyn Neal. Remember those little bazooka single pieces that you used to take the paper off? That was the best bubble gum. It's hard as plastic, but it was good.
Well, the inspiration for my story, would you guess? I was a child of the Second World War. And when you're 6 years old in 1944, okay, oh, I gave it away, didn't I? Sugar rationing was a big, big treat when it came to town. But
The real story is not only the bubble gum, but based on an entry in my mother's diary of the scarlet fever that my younger brother and my younger sister and I had to deal with, taking care of 3 little ones at that time with scarlet fever, and that was pretty traumatic. So the inspiration came from her diaries and the fact that the bubble gum played a big part in it. Thank you so much.
All right, memoir category. Ursa Major by Paula Nixon. Oh, excuse me, second place by Paul.
Erase.
Memoir category, second place, Ursa Major by Paula Nixon. Is she online?
It's
Did you
miserable.
mute yourself again?
What? It's miserable out there.
Memoir, first place,
Mute.
Forever by Ruth Marshall.
Okay, so make sure you mute it.
Congratulations.
This is like first on the my inspiration. Sorry. Really my inspiration for this is that it was the episode in my life that had the most lasting memory. And it was very hard to write. And it's something that happened when I was about 7 years old. It's just it was hard to write, but I'm so happy. Thank you so much. And Kathy, I want to give this text first to you. Without knowing, you gave me the courage to enter this contest. Oh, thank you. It's my courage.
Goes up, don't worry.
Say something, Ruth. I once read a quote that said, "No tears in the writer, no tears in the reader." So that's probably what won you first place, was all that feeling. Okay, we have 2 categories left. That's going to be Cornelia Gamlin is going to be announcing them for both the opening chapters of the published books that have already been published were allowed in this, and the unpublished books as well. And it was amazing to me. We had quite a few published books, but we had more unpublished. And that says to me that those are the people that needed to know whether or not the book is ready for publication or might need a little bit of help. So I know a lot of people put a little extra comments on the ones that didn't wind up a winner because we had the most entries in that category.
Thank you, Rose. Opening chapter of a previously published book. Honorable mention, Canyon of Doom by Jody Lee Stewart. Jody, are you with us? Okay. Go to the next one. The next honorable mention, One Will, Three Wives by Edith Narbusco.
Edith, are you on? No. No? Okay.
Sounds romantic.
Third place, When the Mockingbird Won't Sing by Victoria Murata. Second place, is Victoria there?
Nope, I guess not.
Second place, The Poison of War by Jennifer Leeper.
In the room, kind of, she says she's at her son's speech therapy appointment but she wanted to say how honored she is to have her work recognized along so many with literary talent. I was inspired to write The Poison of War by a mix of love for the Southwest, the Tohono O'odham people, and my unofficial literary mentor, Tony Hillerman. Thank you for making a Kansas Cityan feel welcome in the Southwest Writers community.
In the first place, and Kathy Schuett, let me know if I'm saying this right, the Chimera Club?
Yes, Chimera.
Chimera Club by Chuck Graves.
Who he emailed me last night and said he couldn't be here because he's on another book tour. You know, he's one of those who writes probably as frequently and is on the New York bestsellers list. And he's a member from way back. So he went ahead with, I mean, we should have, like, wow. Yeah. And Chimera Club is a mystery and it's great. So, okay.
And this is the final category, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Opening chapters of unpublished books, and I think I read at least half of the entries in this, if not more. And there were some great stories in here. I can't wait for a lot of these books to be published. Honorable mention, Bullets in the Water by Connor McAnally. Honorable mention, Artichoke Hearts and Chicken Fried Steak by Craig Higgins.
He's on short. Craig, you there? He says, I am. Chat.
Yeah, I'm here on Zoom. This is Craig Higgins. I really appreciate you all allowing me an opportunity to join into the contest. And we actually are in a spot now where Newling Publishing out of Henderson, Nevada is going to be publishing Artichoke Stars and Chicken Fried Sharks, and you can watch for it sometime next year. Thank you.
The next honorable mention, Defiance, West of the River by Vicki Felmley.
But Vicky were one.
The next honorable mention, there were a lot in this category. The Diplomat by Roger Floyd.
Oh, thank you. This book is the third in my science fiction series. That's what I can say about it. The Diplomat is the name of the first chapter, and it refers to one of the characters in the book who is not really the main character. The main characters come up a little bit later. So, but I introduced the book through this person's eyes, and he's a character that occurs throughout the book. So that's kind of why it's set up that way. Thanks anyway.
The next honorable mention, Midnight at the Bus Station by Jody Lee Stewart. Third place, Shame on Ralphie by Joe Capello.
Joe, are you there? No. Okay. Hey, you want like 3 categories. I think you guys can at least show up.
Second place, Paradigm Shift by Jonathan Seyfried. And finally, the first place, Overture by Paul Knight and Christine Allen. This is another one I can't wait to read, so please let me know when it's done.
Great. He said, I'm the talker. So this book really sprang from the mind of my husband. And the easiest way to tell you what it's about is to read the elevator pitch, which is in a universe where music from Earth acts as a narcotic for alien species, a newly trained female protector from a distant planet is sent to save a young, gifted Irish composer from abduction and exploitation. So, Paul's had this idea for a long time. And when I joined the Corrales Writing Group, I moved from being an archaeologist to a creative writer. So he's a technical writer, he's a botanist, and he's got great ideas. And I helped to put it into literary prose. And as I said, I think we're a great collaboration. We are currently polishing this book, and we will be looking for beta readers in the next few months. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much to Southwest Writers. Being a member of this group has taught me so much about how to be a better writer. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's it. We have basically gone through. We want to say congratulations once again to everyone here or not here. And we hope that next year, we're not sure if we're going to be having a contest. We don't have someone that has volunteered to run it, and I'm going to be a little busy. So if you have some, but we have another alternative that we're thinking of. We may be announcing it at the next meeting. That is, if I can get a volunteer to help with that one, which won't be quite as busy as what I'm doing. So congratulations, everyone. And if you want to, I don't think there's any. Oh, yes. And books are available out there and on Amazon.